also want to talk a little bit about, what I see as my assignment. My assignment is not just to come on. It's not about me. It's really about uplifting, God's people, the kingdom, those who are believers, and encouraging them to cling to their faith as they walk in their daily life as teachers. Because if you're a believer like I, then God is your source, and very often the source that we know to be true in other instances will cling to our belief when it comes to illness, sickness, paying bills. But when it comes to us being able to move forward in this very important work in education, higher ed, K-12, we need to cling to our faith, and we need to be examples for what God is calling us to be and to do. And so that's why I am here. I'm here to just bring reminders and hope for what we know is true. If you know of the scripture in Ephesians chapter 3, somewhere in around verse 19, it talks about live full lives, full in the fullness of God. And that is in the Message version. And it made me think about, as educators, as teachers, that is what we're called to do. We're not called to be downtrodden, be concerned and vexed by the ways in which people, staff, colleagues, students might treat us. It is really the call that we are to live lives that are full in the fullness of God. And so the joy challenge that I started at the beginning of the month was meant to remind us of all the ways that we can experience joy. And I asked the question, are you expecting joy? And that's a very important question that you have to answer for yourself. Are you expecting joy? And we talked about different ways. And so I want us to talk first about the joy of believing. And it becomes really important, especially at this time of year. You're clinging literally to the calendar until you either get to spring break or get to a day off that you have scheduled. And you're, believing that everything that you are putting and instilling in the students that you work with will remain there when it's time for them to take assessments, when it's time for them to, move on to the next grade. And so aside from there being this responsibility that we have in preparing students for the next level, there's also has to be the kind of the work that's put in to make that believing possible. And so what is really believing? Believing is trusting in, being convinced by, having this, assurance that it could happen. It will happen. Let's believe in the fact that the students are going to come prepared. Let's believe that the administrator that you feel is always giving you a hard time, that's going to lessen. Let's believe that the years that you're putting into this profession will allow you to have some fruits at the other end of your retirement. What am I saying? It might seem for some silly. Why would I believe that? That's not going to happen. But what's the alternative? Is the alternative to believe that it's not going to happen? Is the alternative to create an environment in which the students, in which the teachers, in which the colleagues that you work with don't have hope, don't have confidence in, don't have trust? So think of the joy of believing. It actually might spare more enthusiasm and excitement to go in and do work and work with students and come prepared for it. When you start having the joy of believing, and I am a living witness, when you start showing that you believe, it will come through. Think about your nieces, your nephews, your children, your neighbors. There are plenty of examples that when you start believing, when you start pouring in, when you start affirming, when you start showing confidence in a situation, a person, a place, a thing, that there can be change that happens. So I just wanted to reinforce to you that there is power in the joy of believing. And I hope you feel like you can share in the comments ways in which you've seen that to be true for yourself.